Well, today we are in the town, it's a very small town of Suwalki, which, as you can see by this map, is right in the northeastern corner of Poland where this red pin is, and it is a very important town. Do you want to explain why it's important, Peter? Do you think you can do it in a meaningful way?
Yeah, I think so. It is the stretch of land that connects the EU to its northern borders up into Finland. So it's a narrow gap between two nations, Russia and Belarus. So after the war, a little bit of section of Germany was handed over to the Russians called the Kaliningrad Oblast. And sandwiched in between that is a little bit of Poland that comes up called the Suwalki Gap. People are always talking about it, saying it's the most vulnerable place. NATO's vulnerable spot, so like if the Russians were theoretically, maybe if they do invade, they will hit Suwalki and they'll cut all the Baltic states away from the rest of Europe, effectively separating our two armies, let's say, in NATO.
I
don't know, maybe
You're Irish.
I'm in the European Union, I suppose.
I don't think Ireland would be involved.
Who knows?
Nation of cowards, some might say.
Yeah, no, but if the European Union has a defense pact, so it might
Does
be.
it?
Yeah, it does. I think so.
I don't think it does, because Austria and Ireland both have neutrality clauses in their constitution.
Oh, really? Oh, maybe.
So, anyways.
But anyway, the town is seemingly quite large. Actually, it looks like it's quite wide open.
It's just under 70,000 people from what I saw.
But that being said, it's got a nice open park area. It's surprisingly nice. It must be interesting for these people. To the left of them is Russia, to the right is Belarus, to the north is Lithuania. So kind of four nations coming together.
One thing I noticed when we were pulling in here was there's actually a graveyard we passed, and in it they had a Catholic chapel and they also had a Orthodox chapel. So it kind of shows that this is like the meeting point of two different religious groups. It used to also be where Protestantism ran into both of those places, ran into Orthodoxy and Catholicism, because it used to also be an area where there was a lot of German people, and North Germans were generally Protestant. So it used to be the intersection of three different religions, but they've cut it down to two only now. So that's another aspect of the diversity of this region. And one thing I've noticed, so obviously I'm not an expert on Soviet architecture or anything like that, but this town, it reminds me a lot of video games when you're playing as in Russia during World War II. It looks very much like a Soviet city, like what I would think of as like a Soviet city. There's a video game I played called Red Orchestra, and Red Orchestra 2 also. And in it, there's buildings, and I swear they look exactly like this. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a map in the game, you know?
Yeah, maybe Russian Empire, neoclassical. So it's kind of like, you can definitely see some of they love their columns everywhere. But anyway, definitely like Red Orchestra for sure.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very beautiful. I really like the look of this town. It's very much more kept its identity than a lot of other places, I think. There's a lot of places where they all kind of look a bit more cookie cutter. This is very unique and very nice.
Certainly got a distinctive architecture that it's holding on to. The city centre's kept it. They haven't gone all modern and glass blocky like a lot of other places. But yeah, you can see that it's definitely got a distinctive look to this place. Different to other towns in Poland for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And every one of these businesses down the whole street, they basically have a little patio where you can come out and look down into the street. The streets are really wide here too, and they're really, really well maintained. They've got like a brick sort of street. I don't know. One thing I find very charming about Europeans is they take American stuff like this, Al Capone pizza, and they take American ideas, American kind of cultural references, and they make little American restaurants out of it. So it's nice. It's cool to see.
It's a Mexican restaurant right there.
Yeah. Here's also a Mexican restaurant in Poland.
And some American dancers, like cowboys, I think. There's cowboys dancing, right?
Yeah, it's square dancing. There's like a square dancing thing. Yeah, and the Polish have good taste because they like American stuff. Mm-hmm. So, you know they got something going on.
Maybe.
We've come to a fine Suwalki eatery, and we're now waiting on our food. We don't know what we got.
I got a loopty croopty.
Yeah, that's not the name.
But
we just pointed at things on the menu, and that's what we're gonna get, and we'll show it to you guys live. All right, we're gonna try our food. This is my meal, and this is Peter's. I couldn't tell you the difference yet.
Basically, I think this one is very hot. It's chicken, but I have no idea. It looks like chicken covered in cornflakes.
Yeah. Let's see.
It makes about the same sound as chicken covered in cornflakes would. I know what I think it is. It's nice.
Yeah, this actually is really nice. I like it a lot. Let's see, is this potato? I don't think so.
I think it is.
I think this is actually really nice. I've had a few like cutlets like this, and I really like this one.
Yeah.
It definitely has like a good flavor to it. It's got a nice little. It's a very subtle flavor. It's not like super spicy or overwhelmingly powerful of any kind of flavor, but it is a really nice, like pleasant, just simple meal.
Yeah, perfect for this weather.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the typical Polish meal is just a very simple, very hearty, very, very easily made meal, I would say. These are potatoes, by the way. I wasn't sure at first because I think it was a little bit of the cornflake flavor in my mouth, but yeah, these are definitely potatoes.
Yeah, I think we basically ordered two different things on the menu and got pretty much the same thing. The only difference was my meat was cut in longer strips. We got like a big steak. So
yeah, exactly.
If you come here, just order the same thing as that Lane did. You'll get exactly that.
Just point at anything on the menu. It'll all come out like this.
It'll always come out. Like they might shape it slightly differently. The meat, it will, depending on how you look, they say, okay, he needs this kind of one.
Yeah, we'll definitely show you guys the front of this place as we leave, hopefully. This is the place we just ate at. It was good. I liked it. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. It was surprisingly good, actually.
Yeah, it did the job. I ate all my plate. I cleaned my plate, so that's obviously a good sign.
Yeah.
Good value too, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
it's a nice little town with some Christmas stuff up here in the main square. I definitely enjoy the area.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you're driving up to doing a road trip, let's say from Poland to Lithuania, which we're kind of heading towards, it's worth a stop. It's a good place to kind of stop for a meal. I guess there's more historical stuff around the area, but on a tight time scale, we'll probably head back, I'd say, soon. But yeah, it's pleasant.
Yeah, I definitely think if you wanted to, you could jump into the history of this place and spend an entire day probably exploring it, going to the graveyards and maybe seeing, Imperial Russian soldiers or German soldiers or whoever, just different people throughout history that have come through here. It also looks like they have like a blues festival that they do here. So if you guys are into blues music and you're in Eastern Poland around the right time of year, that's something to do, something to check out.
I think another nice thing as well to point out about the town, it's got a lot of pedestrian streets in it. So you can kind of walk along it and you're not really stuck in, you're not walking next to traffic. So there's a little bit of shopping and stuff like that in the main center. Basic stuff, but it's nice.
Yeah, it's definitely for what kind of area it is. In America, this is a super cold area, right? I mean, in America, nobody would be just out walking around and at the bus stops. But you guys can see right here, there's a pretty good amount of people that are just out and about today, walking around, not in their cars. There's people, I see a lady pushing a stroller with her kid in it, People on bikes. There's huge lines of people coming to bus stops because the city is really well,
it's
connected by its bus stops. You can go and look at the stop map, and it's really well done, really well developed. So yeah, it's just a very pedestrian friendly sort of town.
Yeah.
See, these are the things that kind of tell us about the blues festival. There's a few of them right along here for each year. Here's another blues festival thing. Well, my shoe has a little gap in it where some of the strings come undone. and it looks like this might be a local cobbler. So I'm gonna go in there and ask the lady that I can see sewing if maybe she could do it.
Maybe put a little.
All right, she said she's gonna do it for me. I appreciate it a lot. This is gonna work out well. I'm glad I'm getting my shoe fixed. Thank you. The lady was very, very nice. She did it very quickly, like 5 minutes. It's all it took. She got it all up and running. She only charged me 10 zloty, which is like $3 max. Yeah, it was a good deal, fair value. Right here, this is the place. I got my shoe repaired. Definitely worth using if you need some cobbling work done here in Suwalki, for sure. It was a nice babushka. I think that's the Polish word for babushka. Babushka. Yeah, something like that. But I've lost Peter. He wandered off into the town and I have no idea where he is. So let's go try to find out where our lost Irish kid is at. Peter was lost, but now he is found. I see him up there. He wandered off to an ATM, but thankfully we were able to rein him back in. We found him.
What's up, my man? You want to check out the Blues Festival here in Suwalki 2023?
There's a statue here to Joseph Pilsudski, Polish hero, right here in the middle of Suwalki, a land of patriots. Here's a beautiful Catholic church to check out. They have actually two of them here in this same courtyard area. So there's this one, and then there's the other one down there, which you can't see probably because of all the trees. But I'm sure this city has some sort of horrible rivalry between the people who attend this church and that other Catholic church directly across from it.
Divides families like you wouldn't know.
Yeah, so we're gonna go in here. Is that what, St. Francis? Who is that, Peter? No, that's Romualdus. I don't either. St. Romualdus, maybe?
This is Saint Benedict.
Benedict is a known one. There we go.
So this is built, I'd say probably 1842 restored.
Yeah?
It would be of that era type anyway, 1842.
So very, very old. All right, we're inside this beautiful Catholic church here in the center of the town. I really like it. Does it give you a very different vibe than ones you have in Ireland?
Yeah, we're very similar in a sense because we both have built most of our churches in the same era. So this is like the typical 1840s style church, kind of modeled straight after Rome. Neoclassical.
Yeah, it's a nice one. It's still ready for Christmas. Anything to add, Peter?
Yeah, the windows are nice. The stained glass windows are quite pretty. They're modern, but they're nice.
So I don't actually know the history of Suwalki that well. I don't know if it fell inside the German Empire or the Russian Empire back in the day, but this leads me to believe it might have been German.
Yeah.
So I don't know what this says, but it is dedicated to 1939 to 1945, so the years of World War II, probably something to do with that.
Yeah.
I see the number 41. Maybe 41 people from Suwalki were killed by Germans during occupation. I don't know. I don't know what it means, but I'm going to assume that's probably what they were kind of getting at. So something I've never seen before is the stained glass here actually depicts members of a concentration camp, people who would have been interned there, and it's actually got a specific number, two specific numbers. I couldn't say definitively, but I would guess they are probably the priests from here because I know one major issue that happened during Poland during the Holocaust was a lot of the Polish intelligentsia, priests, college-educated people, officers, were arrested and would end up in these concentration camps. And I couldn't say again for sure, but I think that's probably what this is for. Maybe members of this church, important priests from this church, might have ended up in concentration camps, unfortunately, during German occupation. Well, that's going to be all from Suwalki. I hope you guys enjoyed. It's a small town, but it's nice. It's a nice little town. I'm sure there's plenty of other small, beautiful cities all over Poland, but we stopped here and we enjoyed it. It's got some interesting history from the past. It's got some interesting history still going on, as it is considered the weak point of Nato. But all in all, nice town.
All good? Yeah, great.
Hope you guys liked. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And that bell's telling us it's time to sign out.